Marcus Williams wiped the grease from his hands as he locked up his small auto repair shop. The October evening was cold, and his 15-year-old pickup truck coughed to life reluctantly. Tomorrow would mark exactly 2 years since Sarah had lost her battle with cancer, leaving him to raise their 8-year-old son Tommy alone. Driving through the quiet suburban streets, Marcus noticed a small figure on a bus stop bench. As he got closer, he realized it was a little girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, wearing a fancy pink dress and crying softly. Marcus pulled over and rolled down his window. "Hey there, sweetheart. Are you okay?" The girl looked up with tear-stained cheeks. "I can't find my daddy," she whispered. Without hesitation, Marcus parked and approached the bench. The child had delicate features and blonde curls, her expensive dress suggesting a wealthy family. But here she was, alone and frightened. "What's your name, honey?" Marcus asked gently, crouching to her level.
"Emma," she said. "Emma Richardson. I was with Daddy at the big building, but I went to look at the flowers, and when I came back, he was gone." Marcus recognized the Richardson name, one of the city's wealthiest families, owners of Richardson Industries. But right now, this was just a scared little girl who needed help. "I'm Marcus, and I'm going to help you find your daddy, okay?" He pulled out his phone. "Do you know his number?" Before Emma could answer, a black sedan screeched up. A tall man in an expensive suit jumped out, panic and relief warring on his face. "Emma, thank God! Daddy!" Emma ran into the man's arms. "Sir, I cannot thank you enough," the man said, extending his hand. "I'm David Richardson. I was in a meeting when Emma wandered off. I've been searching for over an hour." Marcus shook the offered hand, noticing how Richardson's gaze took in his oil-stained work clothes. "Marcus Williams, I'm just glad she's safe. I have a son about her age." Richardson reached for his wallet. "Please, let me give you something for your trouble." Marcus held up his hand. "That's not necessary. I'd hope someone would do the same for my boy." Richardson seemed taken aback by the refusal. "Well, at least let me get your contact information. I'd like to properly thank you." Marcus hesitated, but gave Richardson his phone number and the address of his auto shop on 5th Street. "Marcus Williams," Richardson repeated, programming the number carefully. "I won't forget this." The next morning dawned gray and drizzly. Marcus was under the hood of a pickup truck when he heard an expensive engine purring into his lot. A gleaming black Mercedes pulled up, and David Richardson stepped out, looking out of place in his tailored suit. "Mr. Williams," Richardson called, approaching with purposeful steps. "Mr. Richardson, how's Emma?" "She's fine, thanks to you." Richardson's expression was serious. "I've been thinking about last night, and I have a proposition." Marcus felt his stomach tighten. "I appreciate the thought, but no thanks are necessary." "This isn't about thanks. This is about opportunity." Richardson pulled out a thick envelope. "I've done some research on you, Mr. Williams." "Research? You graduated summa cum laude with a degree in mechanical engineering, accepted to several graduate programs but never attended. Instead, you came back here, married your high school sweetheart, and started this shop." Richardson gestured around the modest garage. "Why is someone with your qualifications changing oil and rotating tires?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "Sometimes life doesn't go according to plan." "No, it doesn't," Richardson agreed, his tone softer. "My wife died 3 years ago. Cancer. I know about plans changing." The admission caught Marcus off guard. "I need someone to head up engineering for a new project, sustainable construction materials. $250,000 a year, plus benefits and equity. It's yours if you want it." Marcus stared at the envelope. More money than he'd made in 5 years combined. Money that could give Tommy everything. Better schools, college savings, a future without constant worry. "You don't know my work capabilities," Marcus said slowly.
I know you stopped to help a lost child when you could have driven past. I know you refused payment. I know you've kept this business running 8 years while raising a son alone." Richardson's eyes were steady. Technical skills can be taught. Character cannot. Marcus looked around his small shop, at the flickering light he couldn't afford to replace, at the photo of Sarah and Tommy on his workbench. Then he thought about Tommy's worn sneakers and how his son never asked for things other kids had. Tell us in the comments, would you have trusted this stranger's offer, or would suspicion have held you back? "This is generous," Marcus said carefully, "but I need time to think." Richardson nodded approvingly. Smart. Never take any deal without understanding the terms. He handed Marcus the envelope and a business card. "Everything's detailed inside. Take your time, but I'd like an answer by Friday." That evening, after Tommy was in bed, Marcus opened the envelope. The offer was real, more money than he'd dreamed possible, work that matched his education perfectly. At the bottom, Richardson had written a personal note. "Emma hasn't stopped talking about the nice man who helped her. She drew you a picture. Sometimes the best business decisions come from the heart. Dr." Marcus unfolded a child's drawing of stick figures beside a truck. At the bottom, Emma had written, "Thank you, Mr. Marcus," with a smiley face. The next few days blurred together as Marcus researched Richardson Industries and wrestled with doubt. What if he wasn't qualified? What if this was charity disguised as opportunity? Thursday evening, Tommy bounded into the shop after school, settling at his usual homework desk. "Dad, can we talk about something?" Tommy asked. "Of course, buddy." "Billy Morrison's dad got a new job. They're moving to a bigger house with a pool. Billy says they're going to Disney World." Tommy swung his legs. "We've never been anywhere like that." The simple statement hit Marcus hard. They'd never been anywhere, period. Every vacation canceled due to some financial crisis. "Would you like to go to Disney World?" Marcus asked. Tommy's face lit up. "Really? Could we?" Marcus knelt beside his son's chair. "What if I told you I might get a better job, one that pays more money? Would you still be my dad?" Tommy asked with 8-year-old logic. Marcus laughed despite his emotion. "Always, buddy, no matter what." "Then I think you should take it. Maybe then you wouldn't look so worried all the time." Out of the mouths of babes, Marcus realized his stress had been visible even to Tommy, who deserved better. That night, Marcus called Richardson. "I accept your offer." "Excellent," Richardson replied, the smile evident in his voice. "Can you come in tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock? The next morning, Marcus wore his only good suit, the one from Sarah's funeral. Richardson Industries occupied the top 15 floors of the city's gleaming tower. The executive floor was all glass and chrome, with panoramic city views. Richardson's secretary led Marcus to a conference room where several people waited around an oval table. "Everyone, meet Marcus Williams, our new head of sustainable engineering," Richardson announced. The meeting was exhilarating. They discussed materials that could reduce construction waste by 60%, building techniques that would cut energy consumption in half. Marcus found himself contributing ideas and feeling intellectually stimulated for the first time since college. During a break, Richardson asked, "How are you feeling?" "Overwhelmed, but in a good way." "This is exactly the work I dreamed about in school." "Then why didn't you pursue it?" Marcus looked out at the city below. Sarah got pregnant senior year. Graduate school seemed less important than providing for my family. So I came home and tried to build something stable. No regrets? About Sarah and Tommy, never. About the path not taken? Marcus shrugged. You can't live in the past. Well, now you'll find out what might have been. But as Marcus drove back to his shop, reality set in. He had customers who depended on him, Mrs. Patterson with her ancient Honda, Joe Martinez with his delivery truck, the Hendersons who paid in installments because Marcus knew they struggled. The next morning brought his first test. Mrs. Patterson arrived with her Honda making familiar grinding noises. Marcus diagnosed a water pump failure that would cost more than the car was worth. But Mrs. Patterson was 76, lived on Social Security, and needed transportation for doctor visits. "How bad is it?" she asked. Marcus looked at this woman who'd been one of his first customers, who always paid on time and brought Christmas cookies. "Bad, but not impossible. Give me the weekend to think about it." That afternoon, Marcus called Richardson. "I need to ask a favor. Can I delay my start date by 2 weeks? I have customers with urgent situations I need to handle properly." Richardson was quiet. "Marcus, you're about to earn more in a month than you make in 6 months. Why not refer them to another mechanic?" "Because they're not just customers. They trust me. Mrs. Patterson needs a major repair she can't afford. I can't walk away from that." "What are you proposing?" Marcus took a breath. "Fix her car for free. Use my first paycheck to cover parts." Richardson was silent, so long Marcus wondered if the call had dropped. "Mr. Richardson, I'm here, and I'm reminded why I made the right choice. Take the 2 weeks. Your integrity is exactly what this company needs. Would you have delayed your dream job to help people who couldn't pay you back? Share your thoughts below. Marcus spent those 2 weeks working 18-hour days, ensuring all his customers had reliable transportation. He found Carlos Ruiz, a younger mechanic struggling to establish his own shop, and arranged for him to take over the lease and customer base. The transition to Richardson Industries was challenging but rewarding. Marcus's practical experience proved invaluable, saving the company hundreds of thousands on theoretical designs. Tommy adjusted to better schools and after-school programs. For the first time in years, Marcus could say yes without calculating every dollar. 6 months later, Richardson Industries hosted its annual charity gala. Marcus had never attended such an event, but Richardson had personally invited him. "There's someone I'd like you to meet." The ballroom was filled with crystal chandeliers and elegantly dressed guests who spoke casually of summer homes and stock portfolios. Marcus felt conspicuous despite his new tuxedo. Richardson introduced him to Judge Harold Morrison from Children's Hospitals Board. As the evening progressed, Marcus found himself discussing environmental policy and urban development, topics he'd never explored in his previous life. During dinner, Richardson addressed the crowd. "Tonight, we're announcing a partnership with Children's Hospital to build the region's first fully sustainable pediatric wing." Applause filled the room, but Richardson continued. "This project is led by someone who embodies our values, someone who proves talent and character matter more than pedigree." 6 months ago, Marcus Williams ran a small auto repair shop. Today, he's designing buildings that will serve generations. Marcus felt every eye turned toward him. Marcus joined us not because of his resume, but because of his character. He stopped to help my lost daughter. He delayed his start with us to care for customers who couldn't pay. He reminds us that success isn't just profit margins, it's the impact we have on others. The thunderous applause barely registered. Marcus thought about Sarah, who'd believed good things happened to good people, even when evidence suggested otherwise. After the gala, Richardson and Marcus waited for their cars. "Thank you," Marcus said simply. "For what?" "For seeing something I'd forgotten was there." Richardson smiled. "You didn't need me to be successful. You just needed opportunity to show what you were capable of." Driving home, Marcus reflected on his journey. A year ago, he'd struggled with bills. Tonight, he'd been recognized as a leader by the city's most influential people. But what mattered most was Tommy, asleep in his new bedroom, in a house with a yard, in a neighborhood with good schools.
It was security, knowing unexpected expenses wouldn't devastate them. The next morning brought an unexpected call from Carlos Ruiz. "Mr. Williams, I hope you don't mind calling. I got more work than I can handle and was wondering about partnering." "Not working in the shop," Carlos added quickly, "but maybe investing in expansion. A program for low-income families, sliding scale pricing, payment plans, pro bono work for people who can't afford repairs." Marcus smiled. "Carlos, let's meet for lunch. I think we need to talk." By lunch's end, Marcus had agreed to invest in the Community Auto Care program. It wouldn't make money initially, but it would ensure people like Mrs. Patterson were never stranded. A year later, Marcus presented sustainable downtown district plans to the city council. The project would create thousands of jobs and reduce the city's carbon footprint by 30%. After the presentation, Marcus's phone buzzed with a text from Tommy. "Dad, I got an A on my science project about sustainable energy. My teacher said I explained it better than adults. I told her I learned from my dad, who builds the future." That evening, driving home through streets showing signs of sustainable development he'd helped plan, Tommy asked, "Dad, do you think Mom would be proud of us?" Marcus looked at his son, this boy who'd adapted to change with remarkable resilience. "I think she'd be amazed, not just at how far we've come, but at how we got here. Your mom believed doing the right thing mattered more than doing the easy thing." "Like when you helped that little girl?" "Exactly. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest changes." Have you ever had a moment where helping someone unexpectedly changed your own life? Share in the comments below. As they walked to their front door, Marcus reflected on the journey. It hadn't been luck or coincidence, but a series of choices reflecting values Sarah had instilled and he was passing to Tommy. 2 years after everything began, Marcus stood before a packed auditorium at the dedication of the new pediatric wing he designed. In the audience sat Richardson and Emma, now 13, Mrs. Patterson, Judge Morrison, and in the front row, Tommy, beaming with pride. "When asked to speak today," Marcus began, "I was told to discuss innovation and sustainability. Those things matter. This facility will use 60% less energy while providing better care. But buildings don't heal children, people do." He told them about that October night, about how one act of kindness had changed everything. He spoke about mechanics who taught him patience, about Sarah's belief in goodness. This wing exists because of thousands of small decisions by hundreds of people. But it also exists because we chose to believe children deserve our best efforts, regardless of their family's ability to pay. Marcus concluded with Sarah's words, "We're all just walking each other home. The question isn't whether we'll make it, but how many people will help along the way." After the ceremony, Emma, now articulate beyond her years, found Marcus in a quiet corner. "Mr. Marcus, I've been thinking about that night when you found me." "What about it?" "I think maybe I wasn't really lost. Maybe I was exactly where I was supposed to be so you and Daddy could meet." Marcus knelt to her level, just as he had years ago. "What do you think that means?" "I think sometimes bad things happen so good things can happen later. And people like you exist to help people like me find our way home." Later, driving through their city, Tommy asked thoughtfully, "Dad, how do you know when you're in one of those moments that matter?" Marcus smiled, thinking of Sarah, of Emma crying on that bench, of all the small choices that had led to this life they'd built together. "You already know, buddy. You've got your mother's heart. The moments that matter aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're as simple as stopping for a lost child or teaching someone to change a tire. The key is just being ready to recognize them when they come."
Because sometimes, Marcus had learned, the most extraordinary transformations begin with the most ordinary acts of human kindness. And sometimes, when you stop to help someone find their way home, you discover you've been finding your own way all along. Family isn't just blood. It's who chooses to stay. Success isn't just about wealth. It's about the lives you touch. And the most important business decisions often have nothing to do with business at all. Subscribe for more powerful stories like this, and click on the video on the screen to watch the next one with a twist so powerful you'll never forget it.